All right, so back to subpasses. What is going on here? So I've been working a little bit more on this to fix some of the issues, mainly finishing the setup of the subpasses, and then when trying it out, the validation layer complained about a mismatch between the frame buffer attachment count and what was disclosed in the render pass. So we've got two attachments referenced in the subpass, in the render pass subpasses, while here we stated we only have one of them. So we fixed by extending the single image view to the array of the swap chain, so the current swap chain in the command buffer loop, and the G buffer, which we have also created a view. So quite straightforward. It's just a view of the G buffer, which is a 2D, the same format which was created the G buffer. It's a color aspect and everything else. So it is now working just because we have skipped the first subpass, and we jumped right into the second subpass. This led us to basically do nothing in the first subpass and go straight to the second one, and really it's just working as it was doing before. So it's like nothing happened at all, except we are getting a complaint from the validation layer that says that our pipeline was built for subpass 0 and it's being used in subpass 1. The same error is repeated for the other swap chain image. So what we need to do now is to create another pipeline, obviously. So the first pipeline is going to use the triangle shader, right? So this just goes straight and draws the triangle from the list of vertices. And another thing that we need is the another shader, obviously, and this one will instead work on a quad. So what does that mean? It means that we are covering the whole screen, or at least the whole frame buffer. And look at this. Windows Explorer did a nice job in allowing multiple files to be renamed by keeping the different extensions. So I want to rename this to composite. Boom, there we go, composite. So all we need to do now is to unload and reload. So what about rescan? that doesn't work. Is it working? Nobody knows. Clear. No reload. That would be nice to have. So let's do it manually. All right. There you go. By unloading the project, it also closed all of our files. Thanks, Visual Studio. All right. So we have our vertices and we need 4 of them or 6 of them. Yeah, let's just do 6. Let's go to this here from Sasha. So basically what he is doing is some magic here, which I guess it gets the GL vertex and then just works bitwise to get the data it needs. Yeah, it's not very clear. So I will just make the old-fashioned way, which is from 0 to 1, or even better, from -1 to 1. So the first vertex is going to be on so did I say that? Let's go to the pipeline. Dear pipeline, where are you? So I say that the front face is clockwise, but the call mode is anyway disabled, so I think this won't matter. So the up is -y. We want the first vertex to be -1, so on the left and on the bottom. So 1.0. The second one is going to be I'm drinking some coffee, meanwhile a bit of biscuit. So that's the first triangle, and so this is the bottom left, top left, top right, and then we get the right bottom. Okay, we need the first two repeated. No, we need the diagonal, so it will be this one and this one. So that's basically the first triangle and then the second triangle. Okay, we've got that sorted. And this will also receive, well, let's just try this out before any further planning. And let's say a composite. So let's do this step by step and let's see if you can get a quad spinning around. Okay, almost. That's just because we need to render 6 vertices instead. And we mess things up. That is that weird shape when you don't get things right. So what happened here is that we get the first triangle right, which is bottom left, left top, right top, and then left top, left top, left bottom, then I needed a right, yep, picked up the wrong one, right top, and that is a nice little quad rotating around, and I hope it covers 100% of the screen, and it shouldn't obviously rotate. Okay, we get that. And we don't need any transformation on it, so we just get rid of that. No multiplication, just straight full screen quad of that nice little color that we don't need. Actually, we will replace that with something else. This wasn't even a line that I was supposed to clear, so that's the one. And what do we do now? Okay, let's jump back here and go straight to the pipeline. We need to create another pipeline with almost the same settings as this guy here, with different a set of stages. So let's get that piece of code, place it down here, and substitute this with composite so it reflects the name of the shader, composite, right? Also get that replaced. It loads the shader modules, it gets them into the stage pipeline stages, and we can say that stages number stages composite, right? So we don't overlap with the other name. So pipeline stages get right into here. No, wait, here. So let's place that here and copy this over again. Let's create a comment so we know what we are doing. Create the composite pipeline, and it will be named pipeline comp. It takes almost the same pipeline info, where we can also say that rasterizer, so that was definitely a place where we set up the shader stage, the shader subpass, and that's here. So let's get that back into the track. That is going to be 1. That happens at the second stage, and let's begin to fix the code down here. Get that bad boy here. We maintain pretty much the same descriptor set, so I believe this can be done only once. So we get the main pipeline, draw the triangle, go to the next subpass, switch to the composition one, and draw the quad. Everything is happy, nice and clean. Is it right? And the last thing we need to do is to come over the fragment shader of the compositor, and we need, where's the input? Oh, that's in the fragment shader, and we need an input attachment, right? It's got an out color as usual. So why do you need to specify a binding and input attachment index? I don't know, so I will just copy it over. We will find that out later. So we don't have a UBO, or do we? Let's see. we bind more descriptor sets. But we don't have the same layout. So before going forward, let's just run it and see what it's gonna show us. So we get the triangle, no info about anything. Is this even the right window? Yes, it is, but it's not spitting out much. I may have removed the line that was spitting out the device I'm using. Yes, I think I did. Let's see if we can recover that. Show me the changes. And this guy here. I may have deleted even earlier. Anyway, let's move on. So we get nothing. And why is that? So we are compositing. Okay, let's see. On the first, you need to, well, let's do one thing, which is running render doc. That will clear things out. Load that again and launch it. What is this? This didn't happen before. It didn't definitely happen on my previous run. So pipeline comp. Yeah, you're supposed to draw six vertices. And let's try this again. It is definitely different. So running it twice gives different results. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe it was just junk. And it's not. Okay. Well, let's see what is happening. So let's capture one frame. And open that frame to see what is going on. So there's a bleed image stage. Then we begin the run. What is this? Okay, this is super weird. first render pass. Render pass and draw. What's going on here in the at this stage? (2D) color attachment, floating point. I don't know. Yeah, this guy shouldn't be. It shouldn't be drawing directly to the frame buffer. So I'm wondering what is happening here. Let's go to the G buffer fragment. So where's the output? The color on location 0. And that's it. Pretty much the same thing I am doing. So triangle is outputting at the location 0, out color. And what's in location 0? So let's go back to the first render pass. At location 0 we have attachment number 1. And that's the color attachment number 1, which is the G buffer. That gets cleared out. Let's use a red to clear that out, and let's see what happens. Yeah, not much is happening, but again, so draw that, and then on the second subpass bind the pipeline descriptor set, pipeline layout, it's definitely got a different layout. Color attachment. Oh, this is so weird. Okay, so this is the swap chain image. So from image to the swap chain. And this is what stays in 2D color attachment, which is our 800 by 600 float. And it gets cleared out, at least it should be. And then we draw the command. We draw the triangle Okay. Then to the next pass, subpass. This is so confusing. Unbound. Okay, pipeline composition. Yeah, obviously. This is still using the other shader module, so that was completely wrong behavior. And we get that nice full screen quad drone. And what we need to change is also the render. What do we need? The layout. It definitely doesn't have the same layout. Let's go back to the subpasses. Render pass. Yeah, there's not much about layouts here. So at this point, I think we have to create another pipeline layout because it has a completely different layout. So we can't possibly use the same unless we define one for both of them and then just switch things on and off. If we don't use, I guess we don't pay for it. So let's try to run this again. And we've got kicked out from RenderDoc. Reload. Forget it. Close, load. So a lot of junk. Yeah, it draws on our color attachment, and then on the subpass it draws the quad. Everyone is happy. I think I'll be back in a second. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. Scroll set. So we need a completely different pipeline layout. And pipeline layout, right? Set. Let's see. Or let's see what you're doing here. Descriptor set. And here's another descriptor sets. So there are definitely two descriptor sets. Pipeline layouts. And another descriptor set. Let's see. Where does this happen? Create pipeline layout. Pipeline layout, create info. And where is this thing? That's here. Okay. Create info from descriptor sets layout.scene. Descriptor set layouts. Descriptor set layout.scene. Locate info. Okay, so where does that get created? Let's set layout bindings. Yeah, I think it just needs to be created. Let's do the easy way. So we get a layout and then just create, right? So for the composition, and we need a VK unique pipeline layout, which is pipeline comp layout, which is device create pipeline layout unique of the pipeline comp layout info, and we get that described here in the VK pipeline create info VK pipeline layout create info. And we need to specify the set layout count, which is just 1. How many sets can we define? And why? And then we get the sets, which will be something. So the descriptor set comp, descriptor set layout, comp layout. Okay, and no push. Push const. Now let's copy this because I don't want to type anymore. Feeling lazy. So descriptor set comp bindings. So we have one only binding, which is going to be an input attachment and is going to be used in the fragment shader. Type set layout binding. So binding descriptor type, then descriptor count, which is 1. Okay, so you get that. Then comp for the layout info. Comp here as well. Just set comp, and that's going to be comp and I need to get the comp here too. So that's it. That's the comp. Comp gets to here, then we get the comp layout that will be set down to here. Just 1, and that's it. Comp and comp. Everything's being matched. We can go back to our command buffer and set that we have a new comp layout which needs a descriptor set. And at this point we also need to allocate a descriptor set. So that's descriptor sets. And for the composite, which is going to be descriptor set comp, which again gets it from the pool and is going to be on the comp layout. There is no buffer. There is no buffer to write. And actually no data at all. Write descriptor set. Input attachment. Now actually I have to write something, I guess. Input attachment, and we get descriptor image info. Do I have to put something in here? I don't know. Let's see. If write descriptor set gets something as input attachments, that gets to text descriptor position. Text descriptor position, what is this? Okay, it's just a descriptor. So basically is descriptor image info. So that's what it is. We get descriptor image info. And we've got one of them. It's going to be on comp. And we get descriptor image info. What are you about? The sampler, image view, and image layout. Let's see. There is no sampler. Okay. So you get a solid null. The image view. So that would be gbuffer view. And the layout, which will be shader read only. vk image layout shader read only, and that's it. What? Image view. That's an image view. What are you saying? We haven't defined it yet, actually. So this might need to get created before everything else. Let's say create gbuffer. So now you know it. All right, set comp right, and you get that from comp, and you get that from comp buffer, which is an input attachment, and there is no you should move its position to the first one. Okay, we get the right descriptor and write the right one, please. We have that, and we can use it here for the comp. So now you also have the descriptors right. I guess now we are only left to the shader to be updated. So we need to get that layout input. So this is it. So no more color, but we get a subpass input at 0, 0, and that will be gbuff position. It's going to be a subpass input. And how do we use this? Subpass load. So position will be a subpass load of that gbuffer position. When we've got that, we just plugged that into our color. Are we good now? I hope so. So let's try to compile everything, including the shader. And should we just try to run? Yeah, let's push that play button. And nothing works. Cool. So show me the console then, and let's see what's going on. Duplicated binding, descriptor set layout. Duplicated binding. Composite. What? Can you be a little bit more precise, please? So, in number in VK descriptor set layout binding. Binding members of the elements of binding array must have each different values. What? What did I do? Okay, this was supposed to be 1. Maybe that's the issue. And I guess we get another error now. No, it's the same one. So descriptor set layout binding. So where does this come from? Descriptor set layout binding. Let's see, binding. Okay, that comes from here. And again, this is just one element. And compiler, you should alert when these kind of error happen. Are we getting a different error now? Yes, we are. Out of pool memory. Great. So where is our pool? And we said that we were going to need only one descriptor, which isn't true. We need 3. Let's see. Okay. It's not 3. How many of them am I using? Sets. Allocate descriptor set. She's getting one from here and another one from here. That should be 2. Maybe. Can you give me some help, please? So what's in this function create info allocator? Yeah, that's create info. So that is max sets. I am using 2 sets. And I will be needing 2 uniform buffers and 1 input attachment and 2 sets. Okay, so we get the next error to fix. Descriptor not accessible from stage. Shader uses descriptor slot 0, but descriptor not accessible from shader stage fragment. It's not accessible. And here we go. That's the point where everything gets a nice deadlock. So nothing is working anymore. Cool. Can we close the application? No, we can't. And that's it. I'm gonna need to reboot the system. Because at this point there is no way of recovering Visual Studio. It's got 31 subprocesses for whatever reason. And they are all dead. Can you please close? Oh, it did close. Wow, I feel so lucky that I don't have to reboot. That's super nice. Okay, so apparently I did not kill it. It's just working in background. Yep. And that's what happens with Vulkan. Every time I have a crash. Let's see. Windows kill process. Be completed. Oh, seriously. Yeah, it's running normally, obviously. Super normally. No issues at all. Let's see. Oh, come on. None of these. Yeah, not useful at all. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, sure. What the hell? Oh. Back. Okay, we seem to be back on track. So what was the error? I don't want to run into that again. Yeah, what's something about the repetition in the fragment? It's being used in the fragment. So what's the problem then? Zero, one. shader read only. Yeah, that seems to be all right. Destination binding 0. There is not much else. Comp, and this is the comp. That's the comp. Not doing any cross parameters. Okay, on the render pass, that's a reference on 0 to the 1. Okay, that might be the issue then. Attachment 1. What about so that's the attachment 1, but it should be bound to the location 0. Attachment 1. So what are you doing instead? Write a descriptor 0, 1, 2, 3. So binding 0 is the position. Attachment index 0 and binding 0. What about transparent binding 1? I don't know. Let's see. Let me try to run it from render doc. It is doing something, but I guess it's not. Oh, okay, we got 2 errors. Maximum set statically used 0 bound. Descriptor sets. Okay, we get something. So can you please explain? That's hard to read in one single line. Let's see. So the pipeline layout is not compatible for maximum set statically used 0. Maximum set statically used 0 with bound descriptor set. Last bound with what? Okay, there's definitely something not working here with the bindings. So what is that? Stages, layout. Okay, that's one problem. I forgot to specify that this pipeline has another layout. That's the comp layout. And it seems like it's not able to write the binary, which can only mean that the dump is still running. Oh no, it's not. It's not running. This is just the first compilation delay because of the system starting up. So let's relaunch, and we get that we capture it. We don't have errors or warnings. So that is lit on the swap chain, then that gets cleared. The triangle is now on the G buffer, and then the G buffer gets as an input. Well, that's not counted as input. So on the subpass, what is that? Nobody knows. And that's it. Let's see if we can get this to change a little bit, the RGB value, multiply it by 0.2. And let's see if the color changes a little bit in the composition time, and it does. So we've got it. Here's the multi-pass rendering. Whoa. There's a weird shadow that is leaving behind. I don't know if this is just because of the monitor, but here we go with no errors at all. So we can say that this is done. And let's commit it. Subpass rendering. All right. Can we do something fancier now? Like maybe loading a model? Mm-hmm. So that's it. Everything's working. We get the composition. And let's play around with that G buffer. So from the triangle we get to the output the color, and instead we could say that this is just GL frag chord. I'm not even sure this will work. Yes, it does. Not what I expected. Why is frag chord not getting through? What is GL frag chord? Input variable contains the window relative coordinate, so that's just bigger than 1 straight away. Frag depth, window relative coordinate. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. If we can divide this by vec4, 800 by 600 1 1. And we get some sort of coloring happening here. Which is about right. and 300 to add a little more contrast, and that works better. Okay, enough messing around with the fragment shader. I would call it done. So I will just stop it here until I have an idea on what to do next. So stay tuned. See you next time.